It has been nearly a decade since the day everything cracked apart. My name still echoes across the walls of that small town, a constant reminder of the disbelief I once carried heavy inside. My family had been my harbor, my anchor, my only true self. But then came the days when the laughter stopped and the whispers turned into searing truths. They called me a madwoman, dreamer, the mistake. They said I'd failed them, that my pursuit of a ridiculous dream would leave us all in shame. And for so long I fought them, fought for every reason that could have justified the tears they'd showered on me. But here I am now, stepping back into my family's home, my heart heavy with memories. The air smells different now, fresh, clean, alive. It's the same air of my childhood garden, but it's not the same. I noticed it instantly. The last time I visited, my parents were already gone, but I could feel the absence of their voice, their approval. Now I walk through these rooms and see a transformation. A place once filled with dust and doubt, now brimming with life. It's radical, isn't it? But I didn't expect it to be this messy. I remember the first time I stood before them, my hands trembling. They stared at my vision, at the green fields I'd painted with my own hands, transformed by biochar and microbial networks. I thought about their faces, their hollowed expressions. I wanted to scream, to beg them to say something less cruel. But instead I just stood there, a living contradiction, big, confident, and utterly alone. It was like looking at a stranger from a past life. My father, once the patriarch of this home, now struggled to understand. His hands, once calloused from farming, now trembled as he held his phone. He asked me, "Why does it feel so?" Wrong, I wanted to say. It's not wrong, it's just different, but he didn't understand what different meant. He only saw us as a unit of expectation, not as people shaping our destiny. Then there was the mother. She'd always been the one who kept the lights on, who raised us with quiet strength. But when she saw me working with soil, with plants, with the earth itself, she faltered. Her eyes filled with tears she didn't know how to express. It wasn't failure, it was transformation. I couldn't win them over. I had long since stopped believing they could see beyond the surface. They were too spent, too weary. I was still a dreamer, they realized. An idiot, an embarrassment. But here I was, born of their doubt, and I had learned that doubt was not a mirror but a weapon. But what changed everything? The soil. It wasn't just soil. It was life. The hum of microorganisms, the way roots intertwined, the way life clawed its way back from the ashes. My science had stumbled, yes, but it had been forged in fire, and I had been there, watching it grow. My breakthrough came not in a lab, but on a weekday morning, as the sun filtered through the leaves. I had reached a new frequency, a connection deeper than any I'd ever known. I was no longer just a painter or a developer. No, I was a force that could heal what humanity had long destroyed. The story began to unravel with a single act. My farm, once a barren expanse of desperation, became the most biodiverse sanctuary in the region. Vines climbed like ivy across the soil, birds sang in the trees, and the air was thick with the scent of life. My family gathered one night, gathered around the old wooden table, a fire crackling in the hearth. They sat in silence, their faces etched with sadness and recognition. I told them the truth, not all at once but in fragments. I spoke of the mentors who had doubted me, of the students who had scoffed at my vision, of the world that had tried to shake it down. I told them how I had spent years not as an artist, not as a developer, but as a nation-buildinger. I had left everything behind, the name, the reputation, the fear of being labeled a fool. Their eyes widened, not in surprise, but in something raw and human. Then, slowly, their whispers turned into silence. The weight of years pressed down on me, but this time it wasn't crushing. It was cathartic. It was the sound of a release, of something long pent up finally settling. "You did it," my father said, his voice barely above a whisper. "You didn't just plant seeds, you planted life." My mother clapped a hand over her mouth. I saw the tears in her eyes, not of shame, but of relief. I realized then, I had failed them because I never let them see. I had been a prisoner to their expectations, not a visionary. But now I see it. This farm isn't just a success, it's a rebellion. A rebellion against the idea that one dream is more valuable than another. It's a testament to the power of persistence, to the idea that failure is just a stepping stone, not a sentence. The family gathered around that burning fire, and for the first time in years I saw their faces change. Not with approval, but with understanding, with love, with respect. They didn't just witness my transformation, they remembered who we once were. They left, their frowns replaced by gratitude, their anger replaced by something softer, appreciation. My success wasn't just mine. It was theirs, too, in the quiet victories we'd ignored until it was too late. In the end, I learned that karma doesn't forgive you for what you did. It only forgives you for what you became. And I became something beautiful, something that could heal a broken world. Looking back, I realized the greatest lesson wasn't about painting a story or writing code. It was about understanding that failure is not the end, it's just a detour. And sometimes, the most powerful redemption arises from the darkest places. This is my story. Not just mine, but a lesson for everyone who thought their dreams were too strange, too bold, too foolish. Because the truth is, the greatest strength lies not in avoiding failure, but in rising after it and making something beautiful from the ashes. And I did. So, if you're reading this and wondering if you ever deserve it, remember this. The world doesn't care about your dreams, it cares about your courage, and you've got it.